It's your boy Ace Outlier. We're about to get hype as fuck.
I'm hype as fuck! Y'all wanna get hype as fuck?
Hype as fuck.
Hype as fuck, yeah?
Hype as fuck.
Hype as fuck.
Hype as fuck!
Hype as fuck.
Hype as fuck.
Hype as fuck.
Hype AF.
Hype as fuck.
This is TSD Chris with Trap Star Dreamers, and you tuned in for Hype as Fuck podcast.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
Skyman are tapping the fuck in.
And if you haven't heard already, hype as fuck, baby. Let's go.
What up, what up? Welcome to another episode of Get Hype AF Podcast. I am your host, Mad Whack Jackson, and today is the kickoff of season 6, the spooky season, and this is episode 1. If you're watching from YouTube or Twitch, please make sure to like and subscribe and invite your friends. Same from Facebook. Go tag everyone in the comments, share this out, make sure everyone's watching. And today we have Nerd Rogue Productions with us and Justin Boyle. So we're going to go ahead and bring him on, you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, Justin Boyle.
Yo, and hello. How we doing today? Mad Whack Productions. How you doing?
What's up, man? Good to have you on the show. So first off, let's kind of get some people just a little bit familiar with you. Personally, what age are you and where are you from?
So I am 30 years young, and I am located out in Nebraska, the grand United States of America.
All right. And so tell us a little bit about this. It kind of sounds like you have two different type of things going on, a karaoke, and just kind of get us acquainted with some of the stuff you got going on.
Of course. So my production company that you mentioned in the intro was called Rogue Nerd Productions. We work with live emergent talents to produce entire productions for venue owners and clients to get live music into the Midwest. It's a underserved niche that we feel very strongly about. And under that umbrella of Rogue Nerd Productions, one of our live event products is called Those Guys Karaoke. And what we do is we use the inspiration of live bands and live events to produce a karaoke show that's on a different level from what you would expect a karaoke. It's a brand new contemporary flair on a traditional classic.
All right. So, man, that sounds cool. So I guess I want to jump into a little bit of the karaoke thing first, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it. This is our product that's doing the best right now, and it's the thing that I want to put as much information out on as I can on it. So let's go.
So you said you kind of play off a lot of live events and stuff like that. So do you guys go to concerts and put on like your own karaoke events? I don't know, explain how I would, if I was interested in going to do karaoke, how would I go about doing that?
So first thing you would do is you would follow Those Guys Karaoke on Facebook and TikTok, and you would look for where our next event is going to be. But let me ask you this actually, Jesse, what do you think of when you think of a karaoke night?
Personally, most I've experienced out here in Colorado, it was a bar scene, and it was kind of go up there. They have a book of what they have for you to pick from,
Yes.
And you wait for your name to be called, and they hand you a mic. That was pretty much it.
Okay, so like your basic tried and true karaoke platform. So we freaking hate that book. We don't do that. We don't make you go through a list of books. We have a karaoke platform that we use that's on the internet. You just scan a QR code. It goes to a browser-based platform that we use called Carafun. And it's very clean, very tidy, very easy to use. Even if you're not very tech savvy, you can find your favorite song, put it in the queue, and you'll be able to visually see when your sing time is going to be up in 5 minutes and 10 minutes. It's got a countdown, a live countdown. It's fantastic. On top of that, we have lighting and big sound and merch available for purchase that has all of our like Fund Those Guys graphics, and we advertise and promote with a level that karaoke doesn't see very often, because people just, when they're performing karaoke or when a venue's organizing karaoke, they don't see the returns the way that we do. They don't see the value in the project the way that we do. So we put a lot of effort into it. Our hosts are very well-trained performers. We are both comedians and improvisational types of entertainers. So we add a little bit more involvement into the experience.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. I'm already interested. You, honest, you caught me when you were like, we even have lights. So it's almost not just karaoke, but almost like you get your own little concert experience per se.
We are rocking with a tagline right now that you don't have to sing like a rock star to feel like a rock star.
That is fantastic. I love that. And do you guys, is this a paid for thing? Do you have to RSVP? Is it possible for you to just show up to one of these events? And heck yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. We don't believe in charging the public for like a cover for participating in karaoke. The public is able to join and leave as they please for most events, unless it's some sort of private gig. The way that we monetize is with the client, because they are the ones making the return on their investment. They're the ones that are making the profits over the course of the night. So we charge them a booking fee just like an artist would.
Okay, that makes sense. Man, and you said you hate the book. So is it safe to assume that you have a pretty big catalog of music for your musicians to pick and choose from?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, our stuff, we have over 40,000 songs in the streaming platform. We've got so many that if we did build that book that you're talking about, it would be like 40 pounds. And we wouldn't want to carry that across cities and different like townships and such to local bars. That sounds exhausting. We know that our crowd doesn't want to look through that every time they want to put a song in.
Yeah, exactly. No one wants to flip through that. It's so much easier now in the digital age to know what you want and be able to type it in instead of flip and yes. So that kind of brings me to my next question. You already kind of mentioned that you go to different cities and stuff like that. How far do you guys venture out from your area?
So right now we are covering an hour-and-a-half radius from our home base of operations, Grand Island, Nebraska. We just got a contract in our email from Kozad, which is about an hour and a half, and they're very excited to have us. We're very excited to play for them and bring them a great party. We are seeing the most success locally, where we have our personal ties in our business like already integrated into the social scene out here. So people know us. They know those guys already, so they know that those guys bring a party. Everybody else outside of town, we have a lot more work to do. We have more advertising, more marketing to do, more social outreach that we have to do to really build those platforms.
It's always a struggle with the music industry, is growing in promotion. It's one of the hardest things to do. So I guess why don't you kind of tell us a little bit about your Rogue Nerd Productions aspect of it?
Oh, Rogue Nerd Productions is my personal passion project that we started back in 2023. And that was originally just a way for me to try to sell my hand-drawn artworks. Nobody buys hand-drawn artworks. It's hard as hell to monetize. But in doing all of that work, learning how to be an entrepreneur, learning what the public is after, learning what is going to be the next hot shit, I learned that I'm pretty good at organizing bands and musicians into a fully run show and a run production. So instead of continuing with trying to sell my hand-drawn artworks, which is lovely and I like it, but there's not a market for it yet. What there is a market for is bands that need help getting organized. Every single artist needs a nerd in their pocket.
Absolutely, I would agree with that 100%. I love that you transferred over from art into music. That's exactly how it kind of ended up for me. And in the same way, like you said, it's amazing how easily you can take something like art and then come to find out that you could gather artists together and make a project out of that. It's just weird how those two connect like that.
I've actually always said that the smallest artists compete, the biggest artists collaborate.
Exactly. So I guess my question for you is, what sparked that transition? What in your life made you go, I see musicians needing help and want to go that direction?
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm actually so excited that you asked that question, because that lets me tell a story of how I got into music industry overall. I met a local band. I'm not going to name drop their name on this, but I met a local band at one of my favorite bars that I was just hanging out in. It was a karaoke bar. Foreshadowing. And I noticed they were going to be playing, and I was like, who would buy some art? Artists that are putting out a new album. I could draw album covers. So I prepared a pitch document. I prepared a whole bunch of internal outlines of what I could offer this band, because I was still very green to the scene. I didn't know much of anything yet. So I was trying to display my value to this band, and they called me the next week and they're like, hey, we need somebody to book shows. And I did booking for 6 months, and it's exhausting trying to go out there and spread the word and send out email blasts and follow up on everything. It's a lot of work. And I realized that I was putting in 80 hours a week for no pay. And I wasn't quite as fit for the booking aspect as I realized. Fast forward across that whole 2023 year and start this year, 2024, January, we dropped the Amateur Band Night, which was a 3-band show of amateurs in the area that were looking to do their first live show or their first big event. And we worked with Humble Squid and Sunny B, and again for the first time, and Audacion on that show. And I was honored to organize all of the bands into a cohesive presentation, as well as I handled all of the promotionals and advertising for it. I designed the graphics. My branded trademark, whatever you want to call it, style that I use for engaging with the public was what we ended up going with. And it's some of my best work. It's what really put me on the scene as far as live entertainment goes. That is fantastic. Congratulations on that. Thank you. You said you just kind of started kicking off last year on that? Yeah, we started January of 2023, and I was a solo project at that point. I was just kicking bricks and trying to drum up any kind of business that I could, find jobs, find contract work, just doing the entrepreneur thing, trying to make a dream happen. And in doing that, it started off this incredible odyssey, essentially, this insane quest of mine that I've been on for over a year now to try to revitalize the live entertainment scene here in the Midwest. Heck yes. All right, so I guess here's a just out there question: do you yourself make music of your own? No, I am a comedian. I do stand up. I perform under the handle Clown Prince JB. And I make comedy for spooky people. So this is a great month for me. Awesome. Please tell us a little bit about that if you wouldn't mind. Where can we find some of your comic stylings? So you can find me on Facebook under the Justin Boyle personal digital creator platform. That's where I do most of my personal brand stuff. That's where I do all of my stand-up and my marketing of my own personal lifestyle type stuff. And the Rogue Nerd page is where you'll see all of my official promotions for events and official content shorts and reels, that sort of stuff. My comedy is not been recorded yet because I'm not quite to the level of confidence that I want to go super wide with it. I'm still doing a bunch of open mic nights and free events, that sort of thing.
All right, so here's a question, and I guess this pertains to whether you get the confidence to do it on stage with your comedy or whether it be with your promotion company. But if you have the opportunity to book or open any stage, any venue, anywhere, where would you want that to be?
So any stage, anywhere, I idealistically would probably go with like New York somewhere that's just really heavy populace, big urban area, big exposure to a lot of like movers and shakers in the wide industry. But if I'm being the most realistic, I think I need to remember the name of the venue. 1 second. It's called the I had this. Anyway, there are a number of great venues in Lincoln and Omaha. The Astro in Omaha is a huge venue, and if I was to such a point that I could perform comedy for like 1,000 people in a big arena like that, that would be absolutely insane. That'd be Dane Cook levels of comedy, and I'm just like, I want haters in my comment section telling me that I sold out because I just had that big of a show. That'd be great.
All right, so let's go ahead and ask you that question. How do you play offense against your haters?
I play offense by just being a absolute cinnamon roll and a gem of a human being in person. And I don't have to fight my own battles most of the time. I have so many people that would just lay down tooth and nail digitally for me and just put people in their place. I have a number of people that have opinions of me that have never met me. And I have a number of people that have very good reasons to have negative opinions of me because of various professional interactions that didn't go the way that they expected or their expectations weren't quite met. And I don't end up with a whole lot of haters just because my exposure's a bit low currently. We're still doing a lot of the groundwork, laying it out. I've had one of my karaoke performances get streamed live to Facebook, and the comment sections were brutal. It's my big experience with internet trolls. I had people making fun of my outfit, my stage costume, my voice, and my performance. And it's hard when you are experiencing it for the first time. And my heart goes out to all of the brand new digital creators that are wanting to get out into the scene and make their art known to everybody, but are afraid of exactly that because it will happen eventually. As soon as you start getting big, there are people that want to see it torn down because they are motivated by these negative types of emotions that are small-minded and not collaborative in nature.
Yes, others it's mainly jealousy, from best I can tell. You know, others just don't like to see others prevail where they can't.
Yeah, I have to agree wholeheartedly with that one. And the wildest thing about my journey is that I don't feel special. Like, I've been seeing a lot of cool success in the early stages, but I don't feel like anything that I'm doing is anything that anybody else couldn't do. I am just Google searching and learning skills and accessing information that everybody has access to. Everybody could organize their ideas into a successful momentum building type of project. And a big part of what we want to do in the next 5 years is open up a branch of Rogue Nerd Productions that helps to educate and guide new artists to a level of self-sufficiency that they don't actually rely on Rogue Nerd Productions for maybe their own promotions or social media management or managing their band internally. They have access to build and grow and become and stay self-sufficient without signing away the rights to their intellectual property. We never asked for that. We are wanting to improve the music scene. We're not trying to take more than what we put into it.
So, with that being said, do you have is your goal with your production company to kind of stay with the up and coming or underground artists, or do you ever see yourself working with more mainstreamish type people as well?
I love the way you phrase that question. First, I just want to say that because I adore it, because it suggests that the people that I'm working with now won't be that. And I have a full expectation that a lot of the emergent talents that and the underground talents that I'm working with now are people and artists that are going to go on to be pretty mainstream, at least regionally. And we have been seeing this growth and this momentum building in such a way that I would not be surprised if the artists that I'm working with now are going to be original artists that are featured on local radio and like maybe entertainment game shows where they do a lot of what I'm doing now to get people's talents recognized, like a Voice or an American Idol type of situation. I wouldn't be surprised if any one of my projects appeared on those types of programs.
That's fantastic, and I love how you came back at me with that answer as well. It's you can be anyone, but if you come and you associate yourself with our production company, you will be mainstream. That's positivity, and that's, I think, what a lot of people want to hear when they are looking for, new outlets and places to go.
It's actually one of our first questions that we ask when we are interviewing a new artist project for branding. We ask them like, hey, where do you want to go with this? What is your goal with this music project? Are you want to just be a local jam band that sells out a bar every month at your local dive? Or do you want to, perform at the Astro in Omaha? Do you want to go big? Because we want to help bands achieve their goals, and we want to work with bands that have similar goals in our vision. So we want to work with people that are aligned with us and not positioned counterintuitively from what our vision is.
Sure, of course. Like-minded people who work together grow together.
Precisely. I love that.
Okay. Where do you see, seeing as you just started a little over a year, maybe 2 years ago, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
So we have one branded artist project right now with Rogue Nerd Productions. They're called Humboldt's Quit. And we've seen them just absolutely tearing up the local Grand Island scene. People are very excited about this 2000s pop punk cover band that is just putting incredible energy out. They cover songs like Blink-182 and Yellow Card and Bayside. They do all of the early 2000s pop punk stuff that is personally very near and dear to my heart because that was very influential in my music taste. But they are looking into doing originals, which I'm excited about. And I think once we are to a point where we know what we are doing with the Humboldt's Quit, we can take on more artists and kind of replicate a little bit of what we're doing to get maximum ears on the music and on the works, because that's really the key about it, right? It's about discovery. It's about being exposed and being able to get your art to as many people that are going to resonate it with as possible. That's not always the easiest to do when you're starting a brand new creative project and you're not sure exactly what your audience is going to be. We teach things like target audience and marketing and the basic rules of advertising to these bands to help them grow their independent audience. And once they are ready for the live stage, we start working with local bars and local venues in the emergent scene that like to kind of take that little bit of risk, work with an unknown, and get them that first credit. And we stand on a couple of moral pillars with Rogue Nerd Productions, especially with this writers strike that happened back in California this last couple of years ago, that ended up derailing a lot of entertainment and a lot of things. We noticed that, and we are building this entire project on a moral standing that our artists will always be paid for shows that they perform on. We do not ever ask artists to work for free. And if they want to take on free work, they work independently with that. And we encourage them to do whatever they feel is best for their project. But if they work under the Rogue Nerd umbrella, we might not take a big cut of a payment, but we make sure that they get paid every single show that we organize.
Sure. Well, that seems fair to me.
Because we're very much of the opinion that if an artist wants to take on free work for exposure only, that needs to be an internal call by them. And we don't feel like it would be right or honoring of the artworks or the artist to ask them to perform their art for free. And so many bars and venues that work with emergent talents, they want something for nothing on a lot of different types of occasions. So we try to offer a layer to combat that against the artists and negotiate on their behalf.
No, and I for one appreciate that. And I don't want to get into too deep of detail, but booking a show for an artist is, it's hard financially, and for the reason you said, because depending on the show and where you're going through, a lot of time the incentive is almost nothing. It's not worth it, and you're asked to sell $600 worth of tickets, and your payoff, if you even do that, is $150 maybe. And again, that's if you sell every single one of your tickets. If not, you're on the hook for that. And a lot of upcoming artists cannot afford risking $600 for 15 minutes of showtime. That's a lot of money.
Especially if you're in the hip hop genre. A lot of the rappers and SoundCloud personalities that do a lot of these rap and hip hop shows, they are marketed in a way that's pretty exploitative. And one of my personal friends actually took a event organizer position with a local private German club called the Liederkranz here. And when he was being signed on for that position, he told me, he was like, hey, these hip hop guys, they are not doing right by the music industry, because he's a musician himself, so he kind of understands the perspective on both sides. He's like, hey, we need to make sure that we're working with people that are going to be operating in an honorable way, and making sure that these artists are being taken care of, at least in a baseline capacity. Like there's a solid and strict bottom end for how we can operate.
Yeah, there's a weird disconnect between opportunities to perform and get yourself seen and venues and booking. And I hope soon people like you can break that stereotype and give us more opportunity and windows.
Oh, absolutely. I agree completely. It's both profitable and important for our growth, but it's more than anything, it's making sure that artists get exposure and payment revenue for their projects, so that they have enough to cover things like their own marketing and their own social media productions, and make sure that they have like ongoing funding in between shows to help work with the various high levels of expenses that this kind of thing incurs. Equipment's not cheap. Big banners that display your band name and your graphics are not cheap. Your promotions are very expensive if you're not working with somebody to help pad all of that out. We partner with other karaoke projects with those guys to do radio advertising, which is prohibitively expensive if you looked into it, even locally. But we partner with other karaoke projects to help get those karaoke hosts their exposure, while also promoting those guys show wherever we're going to be in collaboration with that.
If we didn't actually just cover this question, what is one of the hardest obstacles you've had to overcome in getting your business off the ground?
It comes down to a big display of value question, right? It's how do clients, or prospective clients even, how do prospective clients view the value of your project? And so that's been a big area of research for this year that we've been dedicating a lot of our R&D team to. We've found that things like material choices and presentation and multiple avenues all translate well into the public perceiving your value. On top of all of that, being consistently showing up to other events that are not necessarily your booking or your bill helps to foster networking connections that are very valuable for ourselves and our artists with other individuals that are very dedicated to promoting the live music scene and helping to work with emerging artists and get that word out to people that would like to participate. Because the Midwest is hungry for talent. The Midwest is hungry for music and live events because there's something very magical about a concert.
Well, I've lived in the Midwest for a little bit, and there's really not much to do. So absolutely, I can see why that is such a need out in that area.
And it's a need that we are looking to specifically fill as consistently as we can and try to bridge the gap between the big fairs and festivals that do essentially all of the live events out here and start bringing a sub platform to these areas for those fairs and festivals to discover new talents that are happening and get them credits on the bottom and get them ready for the establishment and the like local event organizers that are already pretty gatekeepy and closed-minded before you get credits. So we get them the credits that they need to be taken seriously and be perceived as high value, which we already know.
That's great. I love that you have, and I hope I don't word this in a way that comes off wrong, but I love that you have such high expectations for your business and your future clients. You know, that's wonderful.
And I don't take any offense to that at all because I do have high expectations. I have high hopes and high dreams, and I know that I can get there. I want to be able to take as many artists and as many creatives with me to that point as I can and get people out of the 9-to-5 grind and get them to where they're making their art for their livelihood.
That's fantastic. So who is one of your biggest inspirations? Whether it be in music or business wise, just who in your life inspires you?
My biggest inspiration is the boy that I used to be at 14 years old. My biggest inspiration is the weird kid in the art room that was entirely too loud, that was always being told to stop laughing so much because it's not that funny, but it truly was that funny and nobody else appreciated it. I used to be such a socially strange and difficult individual to like forge a connection with. I've been able to since then learn things about live entertainment and start breaking into this, and I'm now living the kind of life that my 14-year-old self would be so proud of, because he didn't go to concerts, he didn't have friends, he didn't have a budding social media presence. And so that's what it is I'm inspired by the person that believed in me and allowed us being Justin B, to continue to exist into 2024, because things weren't always fantastic and we worked really hard to be alive and be a person for another 10 years while this was still formulating in our mind. Because this is we went public in 2023, but this is the payoff from 7 years of social media research and like dedicated focus on exactly this, on exactly getting a message out to exploit the algorithm and start taking control of your place as a digital creator in these social media platforms and show people how powerful they are, even as a free outlet.
Good for you. Good for you. Your 14-year-old self is now my inspiration.
He'd be proud. He'd be absolutely just over the moon with it. To know that some absolutely kick-ass creator out in Colorado is inspired by him and his journey, and that it's all worth it. Warming.
Absolutely. So, in your mind, and this is just your opinion, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, what in your opinion will tell you you made it in your career?
When we've grossed a revenue of $5 million.
Well, I hope that happens, and I hope it happens way quicker than you think.
It'll take a long time, but we know that it'll get there. I have no doubt about it. It's not highly profitable right now. It's not highly revenue generating right now at this time, but we're all very dedicated individuals that are part of this big collaborative effort that has, for some reason, decided to get behind my banner. I am so floored by the kind of public reception that I've had with my project, and I can see it going big places.
That is fantastic. I hope it really does. So I'm actually down to my last two questions. So I want to take a second to remind everyone watching right now to go ahead, and if you guys have any questions, please drop them in the comments. And for you, I want you to take this time while they're thinking of some questions to just talk about anything that we might not have covered that you want to talk about, and also to give any shout outs to anyone that you want to.
Absolutely. I am personally indebted to a young hip hop artist called S21. He is making some music out in Kansas. He does a lot of emo rap and like Drake-esque type of music. He has a lot of inspiration from Eminem on his Rap God album, and Drake and Extension, may he rest in peace. And he did a lot of work with me in my early days, and he's since diverged from the brand, which there's no bad blood for that. He decided that it was the best direction for his art, but he did a lot of these types of podcasts in California and Texas on my behalf, trying to get exposure for my brand as well while we were working together. And that went a long way for me. And if you are on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, anything like that, check out S21. That's S like Sam, 21 like the age you have to be to drink beer in America.
All right. So we do got a couple questions. Let's see. Do you have a favorite genre of music?
Well, thank you so much for asking. I do actually have a favorite genre of music. It's the punk rock, emo types of music. If you've ever heard of Water Parks, they do that type of stuff. Negative 25. The stuff that was inspired by earlier Panic at the Disco and Green Day stuff, that is my jam right now. I love a lot of good emo and pop music that's coming out of the scene these days. I had the joy of seeing Water Parks live in concert in Denver this year, back in March, and it was incredible. Apparently, emo bands don't sell merch t-shirts that have short sleeves, and I had to realize why at the show, and I lost my shit, and I had to explain that. And I got called an insensitive bastard a couple of times. It was fun.
Oh, shout out Colorado. We're a crazy bunch.
Hey, it's all that recreational herb that's got people silly.
Yep.
JK, I love it.
Well, there's a lot of other crazy stuff out here too, but we won't touch on that right now.
Oh no.
Here's another.
Which is Red Rocks. Love Red Rocks. Oh.
Heck yeah! Shout out Red Rocks. Here's another good question. I really like this one. What kind of things do you like to do to keep yourself motivated?
Oh, fantastic question. I suffer from ADHD, so motivation is not always the easiest thing for me to come by. And I do take medications to stay on top of my dopamine intake and such, but things that I can do to help supplement my motivation are things like interacting with local artists that I've had an impact with, and keeping in mind the impact that I've had on other people's lives, that the work I do is not for nothing. It's these people are genuinely getting something very powerful out of it. Keeps me quite motivated.
All right. This one, what can we expect from Rogue Nerd, and in particular those guys, by the end of 2024?
Well, you can expect some price increases, first of all, to all of the venues out there that are looking to book Those Guys Karaoke. We are offering our services at a 30% discount until the end of the year of 2024. October is going to be huge. We already have one booking already signed and ready to go. We're exploring bookings with a second partner for this month. We're in talks about a double feature Those Guys Karaoke show on the same day. 2 4-hour shows, Those Guys Karaoke. One that's a family-friendly, all-ages kids event, and one that's a 21 and up, like after dark type event. And we are really excited about that. We have had to meet like 3 or 4 times since we got the deal to kind of plan out how we're going to do that, because we've never done it before. We've never done 8 hours of showtime since we started. And I need to make sure that my host was not going to get too burnt out over the course of 8 hours. And we had to explore things like food and drink allowances and things that the venue can help make that a little more manageable for that much time on. So you can expect some really cool shows. We are wanting to get to such a booking schedule that we can do 4 shows a month in different venues. We have a strict policy not to allow a venue to rebook us within a 30-day waiting period. So they can book us once a month at a venue. It helps us stay novel, stay interesting, lets our shows be an event when we come around to a venue. And it allows us to maintain our autonomy and independence from a venue that makes a lot more money than us trying to take advantage.
I feel like that is a genius strategy. That is very clever. I think that's going to do you guys real well. I know a couple other artists, big time artists, who could probably benefit from watching this show and taking some, advice from our guest here. He's got a lot of good advice I feel will benefit a lot of you. So, go follow and get in touch with this guy and Rogue Nerd Productions, because I'm going to be in your inbox here shortly. Probably not today, this weekend, but I'm very interested in what you guys have to offer. Do you offer help for people outside of your state?
Yes, actually, we can work with anybody anywhere in the country, really, because we do a lot of our stuff remote and we are very integrated in our online digital platforms. So if you hit our inbox, if you DM us on social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, you can get in touch with any one of our team and ask questions. It doesn't cost anything to be affiliated with Rogue Nerd Productions. It doesn't cost anything to know those guys. But if you're going to book with us, if you want to do work that's monetized, that's profitable, that's contracted work, or be on a show, those are negotiations. We need to know what the artist's expectations will be and see what we can do to try to meet those expectations and exceed them.
And one other question I don't think I asked during that is, do you guys cover all genres of music, or do you guys open to everything?
Great question, because a lot of these production companies do specialize in a genre, and I get that. And I respect leaning into a niche. But we do work with any kind of artist in any kind of genre, as long as they are in line with our moral standings and the way that we operate as human beings in the entertainment scene, because we think that who you are as a person helps to translate how good your project is going to be in the long run. especially when you're emergent. You don't have, tens of thousands of dollars to throw at your project going wide, because that's very few types of people. And we help with certain kinds of financing on equipment acquisitions and stage settings, but we don't do a lot of financing yet, because I don't want to go into a monetization schedule that exploits artists or puts too much control over them.
Sure. That makes sense. All right. So I'm down to my last two questions. Oh, I got one more in my comments here.
Ooh.
Someone would like to know where they could possibly purchase your merchandise to support your dream.
So we are developing our online merch store as we speak. We have our LLC development is finalizing at or before the end of October, so that we can get a tax ID and establish an online Shopify store. You'll be able to find links on that to my link tree in the Rogue Nerd Productions bio. It's going to be available. The link's going to be available on all of my social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, when it launches this month. It's something that we're just researching at this time to make sure that we are not overspending on legal services that we might not exactly be able to utilize. So if you do want to buy merch, we have 3 designs available. We have my original, my classic, my "Hey, I know that guy" karaoke shout out with the nice red arrow. We have Those Guys Karaoke, just a white t-shirt with the silhouettes of me and my co-host. And we have our branding one that is our black classic retro mic style, as well as we've got some stickers and some koozies and some other merchandise that we're developing a little further on. Stay tuned for our hoodie. We are getting that into production real soon. Otherwise, show up at a Those Guys show. We sell all of our merch at the show. If you show up with a Those Guys merchandise piece on your person, I pay for your first drink, or there's a venue arrangement to have a discounted first drink.
All right, check that out. So, in other words, just make sure you are following our guests so that you can make sure to be on top of all of those links the second they drop and be the first one to go support that man's dream.
Hell yeah. And check out Hype as Fuck podcast. Like, share those links. Get the word out for these guys. Like, they are doing some incredible work with other like-minded people that I highly support. And I want to say that I appreciate being the invitation to come up on this podcast today. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate you for coming on the show. And like you said, shout out Happy Days Entertainment, shout out Sky Manners, shout out Clarissa Ann Bennett. I'm pretty sure everyone in my chat right now, will go through the end and give you guys all a shout out. So if you are watching, please drop a comment so I can show you guys some love. And my last 2 questions for you, my man.
Please.
What is your most favorite hype moment? Just something in your life, I don't care what it is, but you need to react that hype as fuck, because this is hype as fuck.
Are you telling me to give the hype as fuck, like, do it as my presentation, or are you talking about like a moment in my life that I got?
A moment in your life, your most hype as fuck moment in your life.
So that was going to be the open mic night that I personally decided to promote myself. I went wide with flyers. I did social media marketing, all on my own dime and on my own strategies. I met Humble Squid on that show. I performed my first comedy set on that show. And when Humble Squid took the stage right after my set, I sat down and was sitting there kind of judging like a little other artist on the open mic night, like, what's this guy gonna do? And they started playing Ocean's Avenue by the Yellow Card, and I couldn't stay in my seat. I was vibrating. I was bouncing. I had to get up. I had to get up and start jumping around. I dragged their entire posse out of their table, and we were all standing right front and center at the stage while they did one of the best renditions of Ocean's Avenue that I've ever heard from a live performance. That's not the Yellow Card.
Ladies and gentlemen, Next time I ask you guys to get hype as fuck on my show, this is the type of reaction I expect, okay? Take notes. Thank you, sir. Get up out your seat, get hype as fuck. Thank you. And that is freaking awesome, man.
Guys, you heard him. Get hype as fuck.
And that is getting clipped into my next intro video.
You're welcome.
My last question.
What's that?
What is your favorite dinosaur?
Stegosaurus, hands down.
Heck yeah, you answered too quick, so I gotta know why.
Stegosaurus, because he's one spiky boy. You can't fuck with a Stegosaurus. They will wreck you with their little spike tail, and if you try to get up on top of them, they got those freaking little spiky armors and stuff. You can't fuck with a Stegosaurus. They fuck with you. And you're only lucky they're a herbivore, so they don't have to fuck with you.
Exactly. You're lucky they're an herbivore. Or you'd really be sorry because they'd have a mouthful of teeth, too.
Hell yeah, they do. Hell yeah. They don't even got to chew their food because they'll just shred you to strips and eat you like beef jerky.
Hell yeah, man. I absolutely love your energy. I'm so glad that we finally got to do this. It's been a long time coming, and I want to publicly apologize for all the mishaps before, but again, I'm so glad that we finally got to make it happen. I had a blast, and I hope you did too.
I definitely did, and thank you so much for this great opportunity. Like you said, it was a while coming up, and I have been just absolutely looking forward to this meeting, and I can't wait to come back up on your show with some brand new news next time we decide to do this.
Yes, you are absolutely welcome back anytime. You can just hit me up in my DM. I don't have no schedules. So whenever you have something that you're like, oh, I have big news and you want to tell everyone, absolutely feel free to hit me up. You're welcome anytime. And I usually send my viewers off with over 1 billion streams on their songs, but in your case, I'm going to just hope that you hit that $5 billion mark in your business and supersede that, my man. All your dreams come true.
Thank you so much, Jesse. It's been a pleasure.
It was a pleasure having you. Thank you again for coming on. And like I said, I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and you are more than welcome back any freaking time that you want.
Absolutely. Well, with that, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, give it up for Jesse Madwag, Hype as Fuck Productions. Let's go!
Let's go. Thank you so much. That's Justin Boyle, everyone. Thank you for coming on, man. Have a good day.
Later, guys.
All right, guys. So another big shout out to my guest today. That is Rogue Nerd Productions, a.k.a. Those Guys Karaoke, a.k.a. Karaoke, a.k.a. Justin Boyle. And also a shout out to every single person who tuned in today to watch. You guys rock. Sunray, thank you, wifey, as always. Ali Lopez, I hope I said that right. Mr. Rob Gates, thank you, sir. Shelly, thank you, Mom. Who else is in here? If I missed you, I apologize. Rianne Cook, thank you. Jacob Smith, always, my man. Acid Happy, shout out. Don't forget to catch Happy Days Hangouts. That is every Tuesday and Saturdays. You can catch me on some of those episodes. And if you happen to miss the first and second episode of that, you can catch them on YouTube. They can be found on my channel under the playlist Happy Days, or you can go directly to Happy Days Entertainment on YouTube, Facebook, and every other platform. Shout out Cryptic Carmen, Clarissa Ann Bennett. Huge shout out to you. Let's see, who else? I don't know if I missed you. Like I said, make sure you are dropping comments so I don't miss you. Carrie, I seen you pop in. You just missed the show. Go check it out on YouTube. Manda Redmond, thank you, Mama, for watching. And everyone else, thank you, guys. I have another episode scheduled for the 11th with Kristen Neek and another day. Hold on. It's Angie Ray, but I can't remember if it's another day with Angie Ray or something, her show. But make sure you're following because I will get that and you don't want to miss out and find out exactly what the heck I'm talking about. Kristen Neek Beats and Angie Ray on Hype as Fuck. That is the 11th. Go like and subscribe. Don't forget to drop some stars if you want to help out the podcast. And if you want to donate directly, you can do that by hitting the links in my bio. That does it for me, guys. I am out. Much love. I think we had an awesome show. I appreciate you guys and can't wait to see you next time. Stay hype as fuck.